It's scary how sometimes nobody cares about the truth when the lie is more entertaining. Some people can't succeed in life because they're so busy tearing down others that they forget to build themselves up. Someone else's life shouldn't be your priority. Retweeted by Jeffree Star. Wow! These are some really strong and powerful words from Jeffree Star himself. Now, I know a lot of people recently have been saying, eat the rich, but I feel like with Jeffree, he's a very genuine and real human being.
James Charles uploading a very manipulative, weird video of just calculation, girl.
Oh, well, we'll ignore that. We'll just ignore that because
tearing down others, very, very bad.
But you did make those tweets about James Charles possibly being a predator and you possibly having some form of evidence.
Oh, girl.
But I'm sure he's a wonderful guy, a wonderful human being who was mistakenly involved in all of this drama, and all of this drama, and all of this drama. I'm sure he's great, I'm sure he's a wonderful human being, and he's never done anything wrong. What, he's been interviewed by Chris Hansen? Well, that's never a good sign.
Take a seat right over there. What are you doing here?
Now, I think what I need to do here, people, is offer some context, because when it comes to Have a Seat with Chris Hansen, it's typically known for Chris Hansen sitting down with an alleged predator. But in today's story, it's a little bit different. Basically, in the last decade, a disgraced musician called Davy Vanity, who is a part of the band Blood on the Dance Floor, has been repeatedly accused of the worst possible crimes that any human being could individually be accused of. And I'm not going to name these crimes by word definition because I don't want this video to get age restricted, and I actually want people to be able to watch it and take in the information and just in general watch my content. But the crimes truly are the worst of the worst. The things he's been accused of are absolutely terrible, and this guy is the lowest of the complete low. And now I don't mean to make light of a terrible and awful situation, but what is with a load of bands, like the 95 of the bands I used to listen to in like 2011, always end up having something terrible happen within the band. I swear, I'll listen to a band in 2011 and think, oh, this is really good music. And then I won't listen to them for another 9 years. I'll come back to them in 2020 thinking, oh, what's this band up to now? Turns out they're not together because the lead singer or the guitarist was a predator. Why does this keep happening? It's genuinely breaking my heart. Please, can this trend just end? And now you're probably wondering, how is Jeffree Star involved in this? Well, in 2010, Jeffree Star was actually working with the group. He made music with the group, and also in 2010, Jeffree Star made these tweets. I'm gonna speak the truth till I die. We saw Davy bring underage girls to his hotel rooms and do things 100% illegal. And then in these tweets, he goes on to basically say Davy is evil, the worst of the worst, who has committed awful crimes. But then, shortly after this, he then went on tour with Blood on the Dance Floor, whilst Davy was still a part of the band.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Have a Seat with Chris Hansen for what will be, no doubt, one of the most analyzed, scrutinized, and perhaps criticized interviews that you'll see this year.
And what Chris just said is basically spot on, because I'm going to be honest with you people, I've praised Chris Hansen in the past, I think he's a good professional, and I think he's good at what he does, but I didn't like this interview. I really do feel that Jeffree Star dominated this interview on purpose, and I don't think Chris Hansen pushed him on the things that he really should have. Now, maybe given the benefit of the doubt to Chris Hansen, he did say at the beginning of the interview he is just going to listen to Jeffree Star, but I do think there are some things he should have pushed Jeffree on. And maybe for Jeffree, this interview was just bad because he was having an off day, but to be honest, I don't believe that, and in my opinion, it's clear he doesn't believe that based on his Twitter account. I'm a new character in Mortal Kombat. I mean, what's your special ability? Avada Kedavra and dominating interviews.
Fatality.
It's not really that intimidating. Now, I'm not going to go over this entire interview. Basically, I'm just going to pick apart the bits which I particularly have a problem with, give my opinion, and then at the very end, give my conclusive opinion. So without further ado, let's actually get into this.
What do you think of it all?
So when I quit music, I really quit everything, meaning I didn't really talk to any of those people ever again until this date. So it wasn't shocking because Davi's always been horrible.
Now, I don't doubt this whatsoever. It's clear that this person is the lowest of the absolute low, and it's clear even 10 years ago you knew that. But if this guy has always been horrible, it does just make me question you, Jeffree, on why you even started to make music with this person in the first place. You were famous, you didn't really need it at the time, I'm pretty sure, so why would you make music with them if they were horrible always? I don't really understand the logic here.
You shared a stage with Davi Vanity and Blood on the Dance Floor. What was that like?
So here's the thing. I think that there's a lot of misinformation out there. Blood on the Dance Floor and Jeffree Star, the musician, did a lot of tours separately. We only ever toured twice together.
See, I don't know why Jeffree's even saying this. It's not like the YouTube community are accusing you guys of being the Beatles. They're not saying you're the Paul and Barry Chuckle of the music community. You just made music together in specific situations after you made specific tweets. That's the only problem. No one cares if you were the Beatles or Blood on the Dance Floor. Maybe we just care about the fact that you may have worked with a bad person whilst possibly knowing they're a bad person. And now, in my opinion, this is where the deflection begins in this interview, and this is where he really just does start to dominate things.
So there's a clip. You're on stage with him. He grabs a girl who's identified as being 13 years old and
Okay.
for sure underage, and he makes a sexual move, I guess you could say, humping or grabbing her that way.
So
and people want to say because you were on stage when Davi Vanity did this, that somehow you should have reported that and gone to the police and said Davi Vanity is a predator targeting underage girls.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly what Jeffree should have done.
Right. So here's the thing. In those days, and maybe in still today's times, in the rock and roll world and the music world, people brought kids, adults, anyone in the crowd on stage to dance and have a good time. Now, him grinding on people, when you look at that now in context and they're underage, yes, it's completely disgusting. But everyone at every single show, whether it was the Blood on the Dance Floor show, my show, any rock show, you grabbed people on stage, you danced, and you threw them back in the crowd or they jumped back in, and that was that. So me being on stage and us singing the song that we did back in the day together, yes, we would always grab people up and do that. But for some reason, I'm responsible for his actions. Absolutely not.
Now, to be honest, I do actually understand what Jeffree is saying here. We should not blame Jeffree Star for another terrible human being's actions. That would be ridiculous. But I think a lot of people are under the belief that Jeffree knew about these terrible actions at the time, based on the fact that he has made these tweets and based on further statements in this interview, just so he could, I guess, maintain his name in the music industry. And I can't lie, it's strange to me that you made these tweets, but then you went and toured with him again because you changed your mind based on what Davi Vanity said to you, but you also saw him grinding on minors? It does just seem a little bit fishy to me. Did you not see that and think,
Oh, maybe my previous tweets actually were true.
or did you just continue to work with him whilst knowing he was terrible?
Davi's always been horrible. Now, him grinding on people, when you look at that now in context and they're underage, yes, it's completely disgusting. Davi's always been horrible.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Do you remember things that Davi Vanity did that would horrify you today?
Oh, 100%. The things that I've seen were very offensive.
You see, Jeffree, this is why people think you're telling porky pies, because you just said that you saw things that nowadays you would think were horrifying or terrible or awful, but then you continued to work with him despite these tweets being there, and despite him grinding on minors, you continued to work with him. Now, eventually, Jeffree does explain why he went back and worked with Blood on the Dance Floor after making these tweets. He basically said it was manipulation, he was convinced otherwise, all that good butter and jam.
This is what's crazy, Chris, is that mothers would bring their daughters on the tour bus. So I never saw minors alone with them, never. But there would be moms who would bring their kids, whether they were underage or not, on his bus, and let's say I popped in to say hi to Jay, because me and Davi were never best friends. I want to be very clear about that. Me and Jay were very close. And their violin player, Brandy, who was on tour with them for years and years. Jay and Brandy were my friends. So when I would go on the bus for short amount of time and visit, whether we said hi, we smoked weed, we just talked and catched up, there was always moms with these people. And when there was girls on the bus, obviously I never knew their age, but no one ever looked really, really young. So it was bizarre to me that he would do, and I would love to tell people that something that was kind of disturbing to me is that he would bring mom and daughters on the bus, and sometimes it would be threesomes. Sometimes he would have sex with the mothers. And this is what his band members would tell me when I would leave the bus.
Now, I do understand that the situations of a band member sleeping with a mother isn't technically illegal, but I do believe it is a little bit suspicious that they brought their daughters on. The mother and the daughter came on the band bus, and then the band members proceeded to sleep with the mothers. That seems suspicious. It also seems weird that these band members then told Jeffree. I don't know, that just seems weird. It does seem that everything Jeffree is saying in this interview is extremely suspect behavior, and with these tweets there, you do just have to think, surely you added things up and you would have thought to yourself, maybe it's best not to work with these guys. But no, you proceeded to.
And this is what his band members would tell me when I would leave the bus.
And now I fully understand that Chris said at the starting of the interview that this is going to be a listening thing, but I feel like when Jeffree says the band members were telling Jeffree about how they were sleeping with fans' mothers, maybe press on that, maybe ask more further questions about that, because to me, that is very strange behavior. Maybe I'm blowing this up a bit too much, but to me, it's just a little bit suspect. Now, to me, it does seem that Jeffree has come onto this interview knowing that he is a very strong person who can dominate conversations, and that is exactly what he is doing. I mean, he is bringing up questions before Chris even gets a chance to mention them. For an example, with why he made these tweets.
They want us to talk about my tweets, Chris, and I think that it's very important to address it. Why did I tweet certain things about him being a piece of shit and seeing things, and why did I work with him again? I really think that we should talk about that.
That's where I was headed, Jeffree. So there were a string of tweets when you really tore into Davi Vanity, called him all kinds of things, accused him of what many people are saying about him today, what many of the survivors have said about him. What was behind that, and what was it that you actually said and meant in those tweets?
Yeah, so back in the day, there was a lot of crazy rumors about Davi. There was never any criminal charges against him. He was never put in jail for, I know there was one instance, but he never served real jail time. There was no criminal case against him. So there was a moment when a lot of us in the music world were not sure what was really going on. So it was being in that moment of not knowing, really believing it all because it was very believable. But then at the end of the day, there was no proof. So yes, I tweeted out a lot of things. Did I ever see an actual crime? Absolutely not. Did I see weird, inappropriate behavior? Yes. Did I call him a child molester? Yes, because at the time I really believed it. I thought that what people were saying and the weird things that were behind the scenes going on, that they were all true. And later, did I think that some of it was untrue? Yes. And we're going to dive into that, and I'd love to explain why. But I meant those tweets at the time, and it was a time where there was a lot of us all on the same page and hyping it all up and saying, hey, this person is really this. So at that moment when I tweeted all those things, yes, I fully believed it.
I don't understand this. I really don't. You have said in this interview you saw him grinding on minors during a concert.
Now, him grinding on people, when you look at that now in context and they're underage, yes, it's completely disgusting.
You have seen him commit inappropriate behavior.
Did I see weird, inappropriate behavior? Yes.
You have spoken to band members who have seen him sleeping with the mothers of their daughters who are fans of the band.
He would bring mom and daughters on the bus, and sometimes it would be threesomes.
And then you publicly denounced him, and with all of this stuff happening and all the dodgy things you've seen, you then went back and believed him?
Did I think that some of it was untrue? Yes.
I really don't understand this. Now, a part of me wants to believe that Jeffree Star was just a young, naive kid, but honestly, I can't even think that, because one, he was 25 in 2010.
Nice.
But also, he did say he saw inappropriate things.
Did I see weird, inappropriate behavior? Yes.
I mean, to be honest, it just seemed that you are giving more and more evidence that you know that this guy was doing bad stuff all the way back then, but you then go on to claim that you were manipulated and Davi Vanity is a master manipulator, which I don't doubt. I really don't doubt it, and I'm sure you were. But surely you should have looked at these signs back in the day if you're not lying and thought, okay, he's not been fully proven, there's no physical evidence, that maybe I should just step away because this doesn't look good and I've seen bad things. Now, a lot of people, as I said before, are claiming this is just naivety because Jeffree was young at the time, but he was 25.
2020, this is the bitch I am. This is the person I am proud to be. Me 10 years ago, we've been over this. So every time, I'm not going to readdress things every 6 months when a little group of people can't get over something or like move on, that Jeffree Star is not Jeffree from 10 years ago.
In 2010, you were 25 years of age. I'm 23, and I don't just think to myself, oh, the entertainment industry has a lot of bad things happening in it. Guess I better ignore everything. No, that would be dumb. Past 20, you are a fully grown adult. There is no way you can use the excuse of being
Young, immature, naive, a different person.
I'm sorry that you are an adult who pays taxes, I hope.
What a lot of people don't understand is that I don't have anything to report. If I actually saw and witnessed something, he would be rotting in jail this very moment. But I never saw anything besides inappropriate behavior. Like the things on stage at that time were not very crazy. Looking back, it's very wrong.
You see, Jeffree, I think you just contradicted yourself because you said there was nothing to report. You didn't see anything.
I don't have anything to report. If I actually saw and witnessed something, he would be rotting in jail this very moment.
Other than inappropriate behavior? What's inappropriate behavior? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but you are just burying yourself in this interview. You just really are. And I'm sorry, but no $200 million net worth and no big house makes you a genius. People are seeing through this. Even your fans, and I really don't even know why you're pushing this. Surely you could just say sorry and apologize and think, yeah, I should have said something. Why can you just not say that?
Yeah, well, a lot of people know I'm very dramatic and I say things all the time in a very grandiose manner. So everyone wants me to address every single tweet. Let's go. Me calling Davi my brother, that's just me being dramatic. Davi was never my brother. We were never best friends. You can think that 100% not the case, but let's talk about me tweeting that he's a monster and then working with him again. So when I was doing my last tours, there was a big list, right? Who was gonna play the opening bands before me, who was gonna play after me, and their name was on the list from their agent. And they were very big at the time. And the allegations, he made them all kind of go away. He manipulated the music scene and he was getting big tours. And I, at the time, was friends with Jay and Brandy, his bandmates. So me and Davi hadn't spoken in a while, and he had reached out to me again. And he's like begging me to not believe what everyone had said. So I did my own research, and I reached out to Jay. Of course, Jay. Never seen anything, Jeffree. Davi's great. Okay, but that wasn't good enough for me. So I reached out to Brandy. Now, Brandy Wynn was a band member of Blood on the Dance Floor for years and years. She's a mother of 4. I said, Brandy, have you ever seen anything illegal for real? Because our agents are trying to put this tour together with them on it, and I'm not gonna do it. And I would never put him in any light ever again if you have seen something. Because if that's the case, I would rather die than work with them. And she, as a mother, said, Jeffree, I've seen inappropriate things, but nothing illegal. You know, Davi is offensive and crass and da-da-da-da-da. I took her word for it.
Now, firstly, I am sorry, but calling somebody a child molester isn't dramatic. That's not dramatic. That is an accusation of a terrible criminal offense.
I'm very dramatic and I say things.
I don't get pissed off at my friends one day and think, you know what? I think you diddle kids. I don't do that. I don't. And I don't think a normal human being does. And also, you said in the previous part of this interview that Davi Vanity switches his personality for different people to get what he wants.
When talking to a lot of people from the past, some of them literally have seen nothing and they're like, yeah, he's great. And other people have really horrific stories. So that 100% makes sense. It's like if he needed to use you for something, then he's only going to show you his best version, which he did to me a lot of the times. He wanted to use me. He wanted to get bigger from doing a song together, going on tour, trying to use my name. So I could definitely see that 100% happening.
Surely he could have just did that in that situation.
I took her word for it.
Did you not think about that? Did you not? This whole interview is a mess. It's basically just Jeffree saying, yeah, I saw him do inappropriate behavior, but I didn't say anything because at the time, I didn't think they were bad.
The things that I've seen were very offensive.
It's just rather convenient. It really is. And as I said before, sure, this guy is a master manipulator, but come on, the things you're saying, these statements, these powerful and strong statements, I really don't think this is a one big coincidence that you've seen all of these bad things in this timeline, but you went back to working with him. You've just got to say, yeah, I saw him do bad things and I should have said something. And I know you've said you regret your tour, and that's understandable. I think you do regret it because it's probably hurting your career right now. But honestly, I just think you're handling this in a terrible, terrible way.
No offense or shade to what we call them drama channels, Chris, in the YouTube world, or people that report news. A lot of people do not have great intentions. A lot of people are making money off of this story, and I think that's wrong.
Wait, so let me get this straight. You think making money off this situation is bad when you're in a live stream which is getting donations almost every minute? Do you understand what you say? Or does Chris Hansen just get a free pass on making money, but YouTubers don't? I'm sorry, but I know YouTubers who put so much work into their videos, and I think that if Chris Hansen can make money, they can make money. It does just seem like you're saying that, Jeffree, because you're trying to deflect YouTubers away from making videos on the situation. But that's just my opinion. No shade, no tea. Lol. And now, as I said before, this might just be a bad interview. Maybe Jeffree will clear up on things in the future, and I think he really does need to. In conclusion, obviously Davi Vanity is the main issue in this situation. It's not Jeffree Star, it's not Chris Hansen, it's not T-Spill channels, it's Davi Vanity, who should be in jail and will go to jail.
I'm going to jail!
I don't think it's fair to say Jeffree is the reason these crimes happened, and honestly, I don't believe Jeffree knew to the extent of what was going on, but I do think Jeffree did know sort of something's happening here and there, hence he mentioned inappropriate behavior, seeing the grinding in concerts, hearing certain things from band members. I don't think these tweets are a coincidence when these things you're saying happened. I really don't, and I think you just need to handle the situation better without these snide tweets, without blaming drama channels. And I don't think it's a coincidence this year and last year you've been deleting tweets. I think there are too many coincidences in this situation, and I really hope you just come out and clear the air. At the end of the day, this is my opinion. I'm not stating any facts here. I'm just basing on what you're saying in this interview and showing how you contradict yourself. I know this video is way more serious than usual, and if you're new to this channel, please stick around. I'm not usually like this. I usually like having a laugh and joking around, and maybe I probably joked a few times in this video where I shouldn't have, and I apologize for that. But that is the ending of this video. To conclude it, Jeffree, you just need to come out and clear the air. Please do so. Please like this video. Please subscribe if you're new. I would really appreciate that. And my social media is there. iNabber69 on Twitter. iNabber9000 on Instagram. The Coffee Club podcast is also there. Thank you so much for coming to this video. I know this was way more stressful and way more serious than usual, but I do enjoy covering these serious topics now and again. And I will see you in the next video, people. Stay safe, stay healthy, lots of love. Peace out.